All right, everybody. So welcome. I guess this is our first meeting back, our live video back since I had to be out for a couple of weeks. So I just want to thank everybody for just working with us. Sometimes, some things don't happen as you always planned. And so I was away for a while, but I'll be back. Or I am back, and hopefully I can continue to be back until the end of our season. So just want to thank you all again for being flexible, for, working with us. And so let's go ahead and get started for this week. We are going to be talking about nutrition labels and smart swaps. It's week 7 of Fresh on Deck Healthy Living classes. And so we'll get you in and out. Hopefully you can get some information. So I just want to start this off by acknowledging that this lesson is adapted from a lesson developed and tested by the University of Pittsburgh. It is based on a diabetes prevention program, but that does not mean that you have to have diabetes or any other type of disease in order to get something out of this program. So I talk a lot about like what your goals are, or if this falls into your goals. So we'll actually go at the end, talk a little bit more if you wanted to start, if you had a goal in mind and you didn't know where to get started, then we'll talk about that. But then also, if you already have some goals that you have in mind, that you have in place, everything that I talk about on here might not apply to you. It might not be a part of your goals. It might not be a part of something that you want to do. And that's okay too. So just take what you need and then leave what you don't, from the information that I give you today. So sometimes it might not always apply to you. Sometimes it will. So it just depends on what your overall goals are, because we're all different. We all have different things that we want out of our lives. And so the objectives of today is just in this lesson, we'll learn how to interpret serving sizes, calories, fat, sodium, carbohydrates, fiber, and sugars, daily values, and nutrient claims, and so this will just be like an overall of like, when we look at our nutrition labels, like when we go to the grocery store and we're walking down the aisles, what does the back of the box even say? Like what does all this even mean? Like, what is all these percentages and these numbers, and what's all this even mean? So that's what we're going to be talking about today. So your nutrition label, the goal of a food label is to provide information that helps you keep a healthier diet. And so sometimes that's important for people. Sometimes that's not important for people. They just want to eat what they like. You like what you like, and I'm going to keep buying it because I know that this is what I want. How do you turn your volume on? I am not sure. If you are on your mobile device, there's sometimes like this, if you can see on my screen, there's like this little button on the side that you can turn on, and then up your volume that way. But I'm not quite sure what device you're on. So I'm not quite sure how to help, but hopefully I am recording this, so it'll be on YouTube, and also Facebook, if you are on social media. And so after this, if you're not able to hear us still, then you can just log off and it'll be up within the hour, and you'll be able to watch it and just get the word of the week that way. So hopefully that helps. And that's for anybody. If you are need to log off or step away, whatever the case may be, and you might have missed something, then these videos will go up on YouTube. It's on our DeKalb County Extension Services YouTube page. And then we'll also be on Facebook. If you are on Facebook, it's the Fresh on Deck Facebook page as well. So you'll have multiple chances to be able to watch it. So back to what we were saying, just our nutrition food label, more than 2/3 of American adults are overweight or obese. That applies, it just what the stats are. About half of American adults have at least one nutrition-related chronic disease, and making informed decisions can help that as well. So if that is a part of your goal, is you want to be able to know what you're eating or what you should be doing or whatever the case may be, then this is just one way that you can just help track or be more aware of the foods that we're eating. Changes were needed to help people make food choices. And so changes were made in 2016 after they were being unedited for 26 years. And so the changes for the nutrition facts label that happened in 2016 reflect updated scientific information that's included information about the links between diets, like the foods that we eat, and chronic diseases. The updated label makes it easier for consumers like you and me to make better and informed choices, food choices. And the updated labels appear on the majority of the food packages, or all of the food packages now, because they had until 2021 to update all the things. So what you've been looking at, or if you have just glanced at the back of your food labels or the back of your boxes to look at the food labels, is what it should be right now. So next is just going to be a video that gives a general overview of what we're going to be talking about today. So give me just a second and you all will be able to see and hear it.
The Nutrition Facts label provides information that can help you make decisions about the foods you eat. Here are some tips to help you use the information you find on the label. Start at the top and look at how many servings of the food are in the package. There are 8 servings in this package. Next, look at how big the serving size is. We can see for this item, the serving size is 1 cup. Pay attention to the size and number of servings you eat or drink, as it may be bigger or smaller than the serving size listed. Below the serving size is calories. The thing to remember with calories is that you may consume more or less than what is listed on the label based on the number of servings you eat. For example, if you ate 2 cups of this food item, you would be consuming 460 calories. Everyone has different amounts of calories they need for their body, so choose what is right for you. The label also shows some key nutrients that impact your health. Saturated fat, sodium, and added sugars are nutrients listed on the label that people generally consume too much of and can lead to negative health effects. These are nutrients to get less of. On the other hand, dietary fiber, vitamin D, calcium, iron, and potassium are nutrients that people generally do not get the recommended amount of and are important for good health. These are called nutrients to get more of. One way to help you determine if a food is a high or low source of a nutrient is to look at the percent daily value. The percent daily value shows how much a nutrient in a serving of food contributes to the daily recommended amount. For example, a serving of this food provides 7% of the recommended amount of sodium for the day. A general guide to percent daily value is 5% DV or less is considered low, 20% DV or more is considered high. More often, choose foods that are higher in percent daily value for dietary fiber, vitamin D, calcium, iron, and potassium, and choose foods that are lower in percent daily value for saturated fat, sodium, and added sugars. The next time you go to the store, use these tips to help you choose foods to best meet your nutrition needs.
All right, everybody. So that was just a kind of an overview of what we'll be going over today. So like serving size, like that's the first thing underneath the nutrition facts that you see. There is right underneath it is serving size. And so what is that? It's the amount that counts as 1 serving. All values of the label correspond with that, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it's the recommended amount. It's just what the serving size is and then how many calories or whatever goes underneath it. So serving size is the amount of food that is usually consumed. And so portion size is what you actually choose to eat. So those are actually 2 separate things. So your serving size is just what the people usually eat. So you could eat a little bit more than that, or you could eat a little bit less than that. It just depends on what you eat. But what you eat is actually the portion size of that. So like we see here on the left is some pretzels. And so sometimes the package of the food, the package size of a food will fall in between individual and like a sharing size or the amount you would consume in 1 or 2 sittings. So a good example of this is like those grab bag sizes that's like a little bit bigger than like the smaller bags. And you should not, you might not eat the whole thing in 1 sitting, but somebody else might. And so that's just depending on who it is and who's consuming it. So in this special case, the math can be done in these 2 column designs. And so on the left side, here you see the per serving. And so that's just like what you estimated with what people eat. And then on the right is just the full container amount, like how much is actually in the entire bag. So the label on the right doesn't belong to the pretzels itself, but it just shows you like what the dual column will look like. So this format makes it easier for you to see how many calories are in each serving and the entire container as well. So for products that require further preparation, like pancake mixes or macaroni and cheeses, or like cereal, that need milk added, the manufacturers may go ahead and choose to use the dual column as the what is purchased and then what is prepared. And so if you ever look on the back of like your cereal boxes or something like that, you might see what it is without milk and then what it is with, you know, whatever, a cup of milk or something like that on the other side, just to give you a general consensus of what that is. So calories is provided fuel that we need to live. So a calorie is like just the energy that we need to be able to, for our bodies to function. So a measurement tool is, if you see that something has 400 calories in it, like a snack or something, then that could be pretty high. But 100 is usually moderate for a calorie size for a 2000 calorie diet. And so that is also one of those things where it's like you might eat 2000 calories or you might eat more or you might eat less. It really just depends. And so if you want to talk to your primary care doctor or go see a dietitian or a nutritionist, then that is where you can base off the 2000 calorie diet type thing. But that could be your goal. It could not be your goal. It just depends on the person. So just if you see like for a 2000 calorie diet, meals should be between 500 to 700 calories and snacks should be between 100 and 300 calories. It measures the energy that a food or drink provides. That's what a calorie is. And so fat, when we go down, you keep going down that nutrition facts label, right under the calories, you'll see total fat or saturated trans fat, whatever the case may be, like here in this example. So that is the highest number of calories per gram. So saturated fat is solid at room temperature. And those are the type of things that we want to try to limit. Like our saturated fats are like, you know, bacon grease, when it's at room temperature, it's solid. Those are the types of fats that we want to try to limit. So no more than 10% of all of your calories. Or like trans fats is another one that we try to limit. It increases the risk of heart disease. And so we just want to avoid that as much as possible. The unsaturated fats are the ones that are like olive oils or canola oils or things like that. And those are the ones that you still want to be aware of what you're eating. Because it's still considered a fat. You want to just be aware of it as well. So like if we're looking at a popcorn here, there's two different types of popcorns here, just the red label and the green label. And we see that we have that dual column like we were talking about before, where it's like this is the per serving and then this is per 1 cup popped. And so here the regular branded popcorn has all these different types of things, like your total fat is 12 grams, your saturated fat 6 grams, whatever the case may be. And then here is like the smart pop type of popcorn, and so it might have totally different stats on it as well. So like the regular popcorn is 170 calories per serving, and then the smart pop is the 100 calories per serving. But the thing is that, you know, sometimes you might see a product on the screen and it's like, oh, well, this is the healthier version of this one. This could be just as good as this one. And so you just want to make sure that you're comparing your labels as well. And so like we said before, we want to try to limit our fats and saturated fats and cholesterol and sodiums. So that's just one of the things where if you go to the grocery store, you might want to compare 2 different products, and you can look and actually look at them and compare like, okay, well, this brand has 12 grams of fat and this brand has 2 grams of fat. Okay. This brand has 6 grams of saturated fat. This one has 0.5 grams of saturated fat. Okay, cool. And then you can go down the list and see the things that you want to, in your own diet, try to limit, or the things that you want to increase. So if you want to look at, like, if one has more protein than the other, then you can just compare on the back of the labels and see, like, oh, this one has 2 grams of protein, but this one has 3 grams of protein. And if that's something that's more important to you than, the amount of fat or the amount of sodium that's in something, then that might be the product that you get instead of another product. So just keep that in mind when we're in the grocery store. You don't have to do this for every single product that you eat all at once. If you're looking to do like a complete overhaul, just start small, start with one product that you see. Like if it's a condiment, maybe you want to look at the regular ketchup and the reduced sugar ketchup or the reduced sodium ketchup and look to see what has what in it. A lot of the times in my classes, I like to say start small, because small steps are still steps anyways. So here, this is like another comparison between like a shredded cheddar cheese that you might see at the grocery store. Here's the original version, and then here is the 2% or reduced fat version as well. So like our total fat is 9 grams here on the original, and then our reduced is 6 grams of fat. And so it is reduced by a little bit. And like the total calories are here. The serving sizes are pretty much the same. And so it just depends on what you want to get out of your food shopping. So cholesterol, another thing that we want to try to limit is it has effects on the heart health. It's necessary for your body to function, but we want to try to consume less than 300 milligrams of cholesterol per day. And so in here, on this particular product here, example, that it says it has 0 cholesterol in it. It just depends on what you want to do. Dietary cholesterol is needed for the body, and it's even produced by the body as well. So however, high amounts of the cholesterol in your blood might also increase your risk of heart disease and stroke. Cholesterol is only found in animal foods, not plant foods. So oils, margarines, and shortenings are cholesterol free since they're made from like vegetable oils, but butter, lard, and fat contain cholesterol because they're made from animal fat, right? So even lean meat, fish, seafood, and poultry contain cholesterol since they are animal foods. And so that's just one of the things that we want to be aware of. If you're looking after your cholesterol, if your goal is to lower your cholesterol, then that might be one of the things that we want to look at on the back of the products that we're eating. Sodium is the salt in foods and drink. Most Americans consume a lot more sodium than what we are recommended to. So most salt is already in like our packaged and restaurant made foods already. So our sodium intake should be minimized. The maximum is 2,300 milligrams per day, and that is a teaspoon of sodium. Who just uses a teaspoon of sodium in their everyday cooking or the foods that we eat? And so that's just one of the things that we want to be aware of if you are looking to reduce your sodium intake. The American Heart Association recommends only 1,500 milligrams, and then most Americans consume 3,400 milligrams. So there is a lot more than what they are recommending that we take. It just depends. And so when we look at the back of our nutrition facts labels, we see that this particular example has sodium that's 250 milligrams, but the serving size is just 2/3 of a cup. And so that's just another thing to be aware of. Sodium also naturally occurs in some of the foods that we eat, and is often added during like manufacturing. So that's why like the packaged, pre-prepared foods as well sometimes have added sodium in there as well. But like things like celery, beets, and milk are a few of our foods that you find it naturally in. So sodium is something that happens in the foods that we eat, but it's also something that a lot of manufacturers and companies add in just to make the food taste good, right? So this is where we want to just be more aware of the foods that we're eating. These are going to be the 6 most popular foods where have like higher levels of sodium. So if you love bread and rolls, or eat bread and rolls just in general, that's one of the foods that are higher in sodium that you might want to if you're at your doctor and they're telling you that you need to reduce your sodium intake, then these might be some of the foods that you want to look at first. If you eat them a lot or daily or even just weekly, that you might want to look and see if you can compare what products might have less sodium in them. So breads and rolls, cold cuts and cured meats, sandwiches. We all love our good sandwiches, deli sandwiches, but you might want to reduce that. If you were looking to reduce your sodium. There's also pizza, soups, and like chicken, poultry. So these are the 6 most popular foods that have higher levels of sodium. And so if you're looking to reduce your sodium, then these might be the top 6 that you want to look at first, if you do eat these weekly. So you want to reduce your sodium in 3 weeks with the American Heart Association. This is just one of the ways that they have put out. In 3 weeks, you can change your sodium palette. You can start enjoying foods with less sodium, and then you can also reduce bloating. So the first week 1, is just looking for lower sodium items when you are in the grocery store. Track how much sodium that you're consuming. And then for week 2, if you eat lots of pizzas and things like that, you might want to try to add more vegetables to the pizza, taking away some of the cheeses out of that and just adding in more vegetables, and then using fresh poultry rather than fried, canned, or processed poultry. And then with week 3, if you eat lots of soups and things like that, they have like the reduced sodium types of products, as well as like, the chip owl, they have reduced sodium or no salt added type things. And these are just some of the smaller ways that you can reduce your sodium, like taking things out or just adding in more things as well. So carbohydrates or carbs. So there are 3 main types of carbohydrates in your food. There's starches, there's sugars, and there's fibers. You'll also hear terms, foods that are high in starch, are like starchy vegetables like peas and corn, lima beans, potatoes, things like that. So it provides most of the energy used in our body. So carbohydrates are good for you because it provides the energy that's being used in our body. But we want to try to increase our dietary fiber that can be found in fruits, vegetables, and whole grains. Keeps us moving smooth and regularly. So that might be something that you want to try to increase in your daily diet. And then the things that we want to try to reduce is just the sugar, both added and natural sugars, just to try to decrease your intake with that as well. And so you see here, the newer food labels includes how many added sugars that a company has added into that product. And so that's just another way to be mindful of the foods that we are eating. So added sugars, like I was saying, are sugars that are added during the processing of the food. Fruits and vegetable juice concentrates added to foods for sweetening are also considered in added sugars. And so we want to keep our sugars under 10% of our total calories. And so that's about 50 grams in a 2,000 calorie diet. So our added sugars, like they come in different names, any other name. So that could be like raw sugar, brown sugar, molasses, maltose, dextrose, sucrose, all the oses, corn syrup, high fructose corn syrup as well. And so if you're looking in the ingredients list, I know I look at the ingredients list a lot because I'm dairy free, so I'm not supposed to be eating any dairy type of products. And there are lots of different types of, there's dairy in everything. But that's my own soapbox. But and so if you're looking into the ingredients, then this might be some of the things that you can see in there as well, if you're looking to reduce your sugar intake. So this is just one of the things. The food category sources of added sugar in the US population. And so this is just a chart that says like beverages has a good amount of sugar, added sugar into the products. That's not included milk or fruit juices, but that is majority of like soft drinks, fruit drinks, sports and energy drinks, our teas and coffees and alcoholic beverages and things like that. And then also snacks and sweets are one of the food categories that have a lot of added sugar in them as well. So here on the right, it's just saying surprising sources of hidden sugar. This might just be something that you didn't even think about. You know, you go to the doctor and they tell you all these things. Or you don't go to the doctor and you just want to, you know, do it for your, without, you know, whatever, without your primary care. And so these are just some of the types of hidden places that you wouldn't even really think that have a lot of added sugar into it, but like pasta sauces, granola bars, yogurt, instant oatmeal, salad dressings, and if you eat coleslaw, then coleslaw as well sometimes has a lot of hidden sugar in it as well. So this is our recipe of the week. This is the zucchini walnut bread. We will have the zucchini at the stops. And so I don't actually have a video for this particular recipe, but I do have a recipe for a chocolate zucchini mug cakes. And so I thought that might have been a good alternative to this. And you can, sometimes not everything is about taking things away. It's also about adding things into your diet as well. So you can add in some of the benefits that that zucchini has, like all the fiber and the good things that zucchini has, and you can just add it into a dish without having to take away anything for you. So this is going to be a chocolate zucchini mug cake by our Food Talk from the University of Georgia. And so I'll mute myself and have you all watch this video. Give me just a second. All right, everybody. So that was the foodtalk.org. It is a partnership between like Georgia SNAP Ed Education and also the University of Georgia Extension. And so there's lots of great recipes that are on that website, not just the zucchini chocolate mug cakes, which I have tried and they are pretty delicious. But also they just have other different types of recipes. So if you're looking for any recipe ideas, then that is a good one to go to as well. So this is just another example of like those hidden sugars. Like when you're going to the grocery store and you see like, oh, this is a honey strawberry yogurt, Greek yogurt. Greek yogurt is supposed to be good for you, right? And so it does have its benefits for it, but with some of the processing and the different types of flavorings that you see, they might have in a lot more added sugar than what you think. So here in the honey strawberry, this has 36 grams of sugar. I believe it might be per cup. And so that is a lot of sugar just for 1 cup. And then here is the traditional plain Greek yogurt here, and it's 15 grams of sugar per cup as well. So that might be something that you might think of. I might want to get the plain one and add in my own toppings, add in my own fruit, whatever the case may be, if you're looking to reduce the amount of sugar that you are intaking. So that is also for protein. Protein promotes muscle growth and maintenance, as well as health of the organs and other tissues. The highest amount is usually in animal products, but you can also find protein in non-animal based products. There's plant-based like lentils and nuts and seeds and peas and things like that, where you can get protein as well. And so one of the things that we want to look for, this might be one of the easiest things that when I first start teaching this kind of helped me, because, you know, you look at the back and you're like, what's with these percentages? What does that even mean? And so we want to look for our daily percentages and use the 5 and 20 rule. So 5% usually or less usually is low. And so that is good for sodium and fat and things like that. So if you look at a product and you're like, oh, this is lower or has 5% or less in fat or sodium, then it might be a good product that you might want to look into buying. But if you see that it is lower in like fiber or something like that, and you're looking to increase your fiber, then that might not be something that you want to do. But if you see that it's 20% or more is high, then you want to try to avoid those products. Like if it's 20% or more higher in fat or sodium, then that might be something that you might not want to think twice on. But if it's high 20% or more in protein, in fiber, in all these vitamin D, calcium, iron, potassiums, then that might be a product that you want to use. If it's in between, then just use your best judgment for what you want to do. So just keep that in mind with this 5 and 20 rule. So what types of fat should we try to limit? And so that is our A and C saturated and trans fats as well. What limit does the dietary guidelines use for that? That is about 10% of our calories. And then also what limit does the dietary guidelines use for trans fat? And we want to just try to get as little as possible of trans fats because it is bad for our heart health. So how do we want to improve in our food selections? We want to try to examine labels of 1 to 2 food items at home. So if you have 2 different products or 2 to 3 products that you want to look at, and you're like, maybe I want to look for a better version of whatever your favorite product is, then you can look for those similar products in the store. They're usually all in the same section. You know, you pick up one and there's 10 different pickles that are all the different types of brands and different types. And so you want to compare those nutrients of interest. So if you're looking to reduce your sodium or reduce your sugar or increase your fiber or your protein or, you know, whatever kind of other nutrient that you're looking to reduce or increase, then you want to compare those 2 items at store. And then you can also try the new product if it's a better choice, or if it's on sale and you want to try something new, then look into it like that. But you don't have to take out your whole pantry and throw everything away. You don't have to do that. You can just start with 1 or 2 products and go from there. So our ingredients list is just listed in descending order by weight. Most plentiful ingredients are usually listed first, and then you want to look for our healthier type ingredients like whole grains and things like that. And so ingredients is our word of the week. Hello, everybody. Ingredients is the word of the week. I'm saying this again, that ingredients is the word of the week, so that you are able to come to Fresh on Deck throughout the Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday at our different locations. And then you'll be able to use this word of the week, which is ingredients, to take $10 up to $10 off of your purchase because you attended our class today. Thank you all for joining us. And so you can come shop at Fresh on Deck throughout the week at any of our locations, and then up to $10 off because you have this word of the week, which is ingredients. You will be able to come and get that $10 off. So thank you all for joining us for our class. But we have a couple more slides left, and then we'll go ahead and just end it for the day so that you all can get back on with your day. So these are just some of the nutrient claims that we want to look for, because, you know, you go to the grocery store and there's all these different types of things that are being thrown at you, all these labels, all the pretty packaging, and you're like, what does all these terms even mean? So if you see a term that says like free of, it means it contains no amount of or only trace amounts of nutrients like fat-free, calorie-free, sodium-free. And then if you see the term like low, then you can see like per serving. So if it's 40 calories or less, that's what they can classify as low, or 3 grams or less of fat, 1 gram or less of saturated fat, 20 milligrams or less of cholesterol, or 140 milligrams or less of sodium. That's what's considered low. So if you see low sodium, low cholesterol, low saturated fat, low fat, then that's what these items mean. And then if you see something that is reduced, it means contains at least 25% less of a nutrient than the original version. And so while reduced might be reduced, it still might be higher in that. So, you know, say for example, if you're looking at bags of chips, and chips tend to have higher sodium in them. If you see, you know, a bag of chips that has, you know, however many, 100 milligrams of sodium or whatever the case may be, then you see here, and you see another bag that says reduced, it's the same brand. It just means that it contains 25% less of that sodium. So it still might be high in sodium, but it might be just a little bit more reduced. So that's just, take that into consideration as well. So if we also see like something that is, oh, this is a good source of fiber, a good source of whatever the case, whatever that nutrient is, then it contains 10 to 19% of that daily value. And so like we were saying, like 20% or higher is considered high. Then the good source is 10 to 19% or higher of that nutrient. An excellent source or a high source contains that 20% or more. And then the no salt or no sugar added is just no salt or sugar added during the processing, but it doesn't mean that it is salt or sugar free. So like we can see, if something has like fresh apples in it or something like that, then apples naturally have sugar in them. And so it's just no salt added for that product because it just has, it's an apple product or something like that. But it doesn't mean that it doesn't have any sugar at all because sugar is in apples. Or if you see something that says light or light, L-I-T-E, if the food normally has 50% or more of its calories from fat, then the light version of that product must have half the fat of the regular version. So that's just what all of these nutrient claims mean. They try to get you on the packaging because the packaging is pretty, it's bright, has great font, whatever the case may be. And so this is what those words actually mean on that. So next is going to be our physical activity suggestion of the week. I try to include this on every class that I teach, just so that if somebody wants to be more active and doesn't know where to start, if you have internet connection, then you'll be able to possibly do these classes as well. I show different classes that are, you know, upper body strength, lower body strength, walking classes, dancing videos. And so I just like showing different types of videos for people to get an idea of, you don't have to spend a lot of money to be able to be more physically active. And so I just like showing these videos because it just shows a variety of different people doing a variety of different things. Especially if you don't know what you'd like to do. Like if you know, I'm not about to be running anywhere. I'm not really an outdoor person. The bugs, the mosquitoes are out. No. So these are just some of the suggestions that you can do within your own home, within the air conditioning, whatever the case may be, and you can still be active. So give me just a minute and I will show you this video as well.
What's going on, everybody? This your girl, Roz the Diva. I have some special, amazing presents, specifically for my plus size fam out there. Now, everybody can take advantage of these, but I know they work for my body, and I hope they work for yours too. So we're gonna start with a warm-up, so you can have a seat. I love this bench here. If it's a bench, a chair, anything that can hold your body weight, works for you, works for me. I'm gonna let that head roll down and around. You know, I remember when I was so intimidated by fitness just because of my size. I didn't want to go to the gym. But man, when you just find the right movements for your body, it's a whole different ball game. Awesome. Deep breaths all the way in through the nose. Fantastic. Shake that out. Let's go for some shoulder rolls. I can't wait to see what you all are able to accomplish. I want your confidence sky high. Don't let your size dictate your worth to athleticism. Whether you are a professional athlete or just a weekend warrior or you're press and play for the first time, you are valid and you are worthy. Awesome. Let's take these hands. Oh, but man, these simple movements. This is like the anti-texting wrist rolls. That's the official terminology. Anti-texting wrist rolls.
Okay, everybody. I just like giving a small snippet. So if you're interested in that, I have my email at the end. You feel free to email me so that you can be able to watch the whole video. But we don't have a lot of time. Well, I just like to get you all in and out. So just some take-home messages for this week is just read the labels more often. You'll be surprised by what's on the back of it. And even if it doesn't really mean anything to you right now, it might mean something to you a little bit later if that's something that you want to do. Focus on 1 to 2 nutrients if that's something that you're looking to increase or looking to take out of your diet as well. So if you're looking for sodiums or sugars, fats, adding in more fiber, adding in more like vitamin A, potassium, things like that, then just focus on 1 to 2 nutrients when you are looking at the back of your label if you're looking to compare items in the store. Start with 1 to 2 products at home as well. You don't have to rip out your entire pantry and throw everything away because one, that's expensive. Food is expensive now. So we want to just try to do 1 to 2 things at home or products at home first, just to see if you even like them. And then you can maybe look into swapping out some more items for different items. Look for the better product at the store just by comparing them at, having them side by side, actually looking at them. And so that's why we say only doing 1 to 2 products at a time, because, our time is precious and valuable. And so if you don't want to be standing in the aisle for 20 minutes looking at multiple items all at once, just start small so that you're able to, take a couple minutes, look at it and be like, oh, okay, I'll try this one instead. Instead of, spending that extra maybe hour in the store comparing all the items that's in your cart. And so then by changing a product a week, you might have a new eating pattern or new eating habits as well. So it just depends on what your goals are. If that is your goal, then kudos for you. If that's not your goal, then, it is what it is. So like I was saying before, when we're talking about goals, some people, if you have watched our previous classes and you might have done this already, then this might be something that you've already done. But if you're just joining in with us today, or you haven't gotten started yet, and you want to hear about it again, here it is. So this is how we want to do some goal setting. Turning our bigger goals into smaller, SMART goals can help us build habits. So here on the right side, we see somebody saying, I'm going to eat healthy. And that's a great goal to have, but how are we going to eat healthy? So we want to start by doing our SMART goals. So S is specific, M is measurable, A is attainable, R is realistic, and T is time bound. So specific just means describing exactly what you want to do. Measurable is if you measure your progress, then you're able to hold yourself accountable and make sure that you're succeeding. So just making sure that you're able to see how you can measure that, or like what your steps are in between. A is attainable, making sure that you have the tools, the time, and the resources you need to achieve your goal. Don't set yourself up for failure from the beginning. You want to make sure that these goals are something that we're able to do in the proper timeline that we can do it. R is being realistic with yourself. That goes with being attainable. Is you're more likely to have long-term success with small achievable goals. And T is time bound. So having like a start date and how often you want to do something, and also having a deadline is also very key for this. So I'm going to eat healthy is a great goal, but how can we turn it into a SMART goal? Is beginning this weekend, I'll fill 2/3 of my plate with fruits and vegetables at every meal 4 days a week. And so the great thing about setting your own goals is you can do things that are personalized for you. So if you look at this goal here written down that somebody else wrote, then that might seem like that might be a little bit too much. It might be not enough, whatever the case may be. And so you can customize this for yourself. And so you can say, beginning this week, I'll fill 2/3 of my plate with fruits and vegetables at one meal 2 times this week or a week. And then by the end, and having like a deadline or something like that. And so another goal is I want to exercise more. I want to be more physically active. That's a great goal to have, but how can we turn that into a SMART goal? Beginning Monday, I'll do at least 30 minutes of activity 5 days a week. And so here written down, this is somebody else's goal. Somebody else wrote that. So it could be, I want to, beginning Monday, I'll do at least 5 minutes of activity 2 days a week. Start small. Start with something that you believe is attainable for yourself. If you have a busy schedule, if you have, a lot of commitments, if you haven't been physically active in a while, and you talk to your primary care physician and they're saying that you want to be more physically active, then start small with that in that goal. You don't have to just straight out being like, I'm going to do the 50-yard dash in 2 minutes. We don't have to do that. Okay. We can do something a little bit smaller and making it more attainable for yourself. And so you can make these goals as customizable as possible. It doesn't even have to be nutrition related. It could be an everyday goal. It could be a money goal. It could be something that you want to do with your family goals, whatever you want to do, just make it a SMART goal. And so this is just a way that you can, one of like the setting your goals, just making sure that you're, whatever you want to do, choosing a challenge, personalize it, you can track it as well. And then if you want to share it with me, you can share it with me. If you want to keep it to yourself, you can keep it to yourself. If you want to have an accountability partner and do it with like a family member or a friend or something like that, share it with each other as well. But my name is Jamel Hawkins. I'm the Family Consumer Sciences Agent for DeKalb County Extension. I'm also working with Fresh on Deck Mobile Farmers Market, and that's why we're doing these healthy living classes. So my email address is JAM as in Mary, ILLE Hawkins, HAWKINS @UGA.edu. If you have any questions, if you want the link to the video that I showed today, if you just want to say hello, feel free to email me. On the right side is our evaluation that I ask every week. Please, every week, I'll keep asking you through session A and session B to go ahead and fill out this at the end of every class. So the title for this could be like food swaps or nutrition labels or something like that. And here is the QR code that you can scan with your phone camera. And then at the bottom is just the web address that you can put into like your browser and look it up. You can find all of our up-to-date information on Facebook and Instagram with Fresh on Deck. You can also go on our website, freshondeck.com, and we'll have the video up there, the YouTube video linked to that as well. So we'll be on YouTube. We'll have our videos on Facebook. So if you have a friend or a family member that couldn't join us today live here, then you can tell them to check us out on our website, freshondeck.com, our Facebook, Fresh on Deck, or our YouTube page, which is DeKalb County Extension Services. It's different, but we try to keep everything Fresh on Deck related. That one's just a little bit different, but it's on our freshondeck.com page to get to the YouTube. So you can give them that link as well. Also, I want to be able to let you all know that not this week coming up, so not this week, but the week of the 4th of July, we will not be out Tuesday. Because of the 4th of July holiday, we observe all DeKalb County holidays, and we will resume on Wednesday. So just keep that in mind for our Session A people. If you join us for our Session A, then we just want to let you all know in advance so you can plan accordingly. And then because you joined us on our class today, then you can request a kitchen gadget at this week's stop, so that you can just get a little kitchen gadget if that's something that you want. But we will be out Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday of this week at Ellenwood Library, Beulah Missionary Baptist Church, Scott Candler Library, Lou Walker Senior Center, Clarkston Community Center, Eastlake YMCA, Reserve at Hairston Lake, and then also at the DeKalb County Extension Office. So you have the word of the week. I said it multiple times so that everybody can have it. To have the word of the week, come visit us Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday at any of our stops, and we will be happy to see you there. So we do not get our food from the DeKalb County Farmers Market. We get it from a different producer. But yes, thank you all, everybody. If you have any more questions, here is my email again, and we will see you all later. Have a great week, everybody.